Senator Lindsay Graham kicks us off tonight, Republican from South Carolina, ranking member on the Judiciary Committee. Senator, welcome. Glad to see you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Did Trump's ego and rhetoric, anytime, anywhere, any place, get the best of him?
I don't think so. I mean, at the end of the day, if the debate looks like it's staged and Biden's afraid to engage, that will hurt him. You know, what I want to see is, can he stand up there for an hour, both of them, be asked questions and give solid answers. I don't think Trump got played as long as Biden is going to have to show up and answer any question.
All right, so much before a debate, and you know this before State of the Unions, is the expectations game, right?
Yeah.
And this was what transpired on Truth Social and then on Twitter today, where former President Trump put on Twitter, Truth Social, hey, Joe Biden is the worst person I've ever had to debate. Maggie Haberman's take on the debate, same thing as 2020, set the bar low for Biden, and Biden stepped over it. To that point, is President Trump missing an opportunity here to force Biden to play at a higher level? Republicans did the same thing with the State of the Union. It didn't work out well.
Well, here's what I think. I think an hour where you get to see both of them together, not the State of the Union where you're making a speech, reading a teleprompter, will be good. I doubt if he'll have a teleprompter. And the question I have is, can President Trump and Biden, without a teleprompter, convince people they're better than the other guy? I like Trump's chances to be energetic, to be engaging, to articulate the difference between what he did as president, what Biden is doing. And I can't wait to hear Joe Biden try to explain how things are going well in America. He owes it to the American people to explain to them where we're at and where we're going to go. I'm looking forward to that without a teleprompter.
All right. We can all agree. We don't know whether there were teleprompters included in the rules, but CNN was able to come out with
I'm assuming there's not.
Their debate
it's
agreement.
Not much of a debate if you have a teleprompter.
Their debate agreement within hours, Joe Biden agreed. You can only imagine the conversations between the Biden campaign and CNN had gone on for a long time. We know what Donald Trump will do if things don't go well, right? He's going to complain that it was unfair and that it was rigged and the moderators against him, all of which may be true in terms of the moderators being against him, Dana Bash and Jake Tapper. Will anybody care, though, once 70 or 80 million have watched it?
You know, I think a lot of people are going to watch it because there's a question really hanging over President Biden. Is he capable of doing the job for more years? 25, 26, 27, 28. Do you want this guy around for 4 more years making important decisions? How does he fare explaining where America is, why 70% of the people feel we're heading in the wrong direction? What kind of case can he make for the policies he's enacted and where he's going to go? I'm dying to hear that. I know Jake and Dana, well, they'll ask questions. Explain to the American people, Mr. President, why they're wrong to feel like the country is going in the wrong direction. As to President Trump, he'll be challenged too, so I look forward to it.
All right. For the first time in probably a very long time, foreign policy is going to take a center stage.
Huge.
There's going to be the issue of support for Israel, and I think by the middle to the end of June, the Russian spring offensive, summer offensive into Ukraine, they've got 500,000 troops. We're at the point where the Russians very well may be able to break the back of the Ukrainians. We'll start there. How worried are you that sometime in the next month or two, Russia will break through Ukraine lines and all of a sudden it's not going to be, hey, how many more weapons do we need to send to Ukraine? But there's going to start to be real conversations among a certain group of Democrats in Washington about sending U.S. troops to Ukraine.
No, well, nobody's going to send U.S. troops to Ukraine, and I think the Ukrainians are going to take these weapons and regain lost momentum. We did wait too long, but the Russian army really doesn't want to be in Ukraine, and the Ukrainians don't want to give up their country to Russia. This all started with Afghanistan. So if you have a debate, here's the one thing I would ask President Biden. In 2021, you withdrew from Afghanistan. The Taliban came back. In 2022, Russia invaded Ukraine. In 2023, Hamas attacked Israel. In 2024, Iran attacked Israel. Every year in office, it seems to get worse. What's your answer?
Or what's your plan, right?
What's your plan to turn around?
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.